The last one. Left the alien spaceship floated quietly in the cold, dark space. Its lights flickered weakly, and most of the ship looked dead. Inside a long chamber, rows of glowing pods stood still, but almost all of them were empty now. Some were broken. Others were full of lifeless alien bodies. Only one pod still had life. Jiraiya. She opened her glowing purple eyes slowly. Her body was weak, her breath shallow. As she looked around, confusion filled her mind. Where are the others? She pulled herself out of the pod and stumbled forward, her hands shaking. Her black skin shimmered with faint red light, and her long silver hair floated around her like smoke. Suddenly, a sharp beep echoed in the room. A hologram appeared in front of her. A cold, robotic voice spoke. Warning. All Generation 7 females inactive. You are the last. Vitality core will shut down in 72 hours unless bonding is completed. Jiraiya gasped. No, they're all gone. She turned and looked at the other pods. Her sisters, all dead. Tears rolled down her cheeks, glowing slightly in the dim light. She knew what this meant. Without a bond, she would die too. Her race was built to survive through bonding. Without it, their bodies turned cold. Their hearts stopped. The system called them inactive, but it really meant dead. Her heart raced. She had to find a solution. Now. Jiraiya dragged herself to the pilot chamber. Most systems were offline. Only one pod ship was still working. She grabbed a small energy core from the control panel, jammed it into the pod and whispered, Earth, please, have what I need. The pod launched silently into the stars, leaving behind the graveyard of her kind. Back on Earth. Jason was fixing a broken engine in his small garage near the edge of the forest. He was just a normal guy. No family, no friends, just machines and silence. The sky outside was dark, clouds moving fast. A loud boom shook the air. Jason dropped his wrench. What the hell was that? He ran outside. A flash of fire had crashed deep into the woods behind his house. Smoke was rising. Something had fallen. Hard. Jason grabbed his flashlight and ran toward the forest. The trees were silent, but the air felt heavy, like something big had just happened. As he reached the crash site, he froze. It wasn't a meteor. It wasn't a plane. It was a pod, half buried in the ground. The small, alien pod hissed with steam. The door opened slowly, and a figure rolled out onto the grass. Jason stepped closer. It was a girl. Not human. She had glowing skin, silver hair, and markings on her arms like circuits. She looked broken, weak, beautiful, and dying. Jason whispered, Is this a dream? The girl opened her eyes. Barely. She tried to speak. Her voice was dry, shaking. You, human? Jason nodded slowly, too shocked to say anything. Jiraiya's hand reached toward him. Please, help me. I have no time. Jason dropped to his knees. Are you okay? Who are you? What happened to you? She coughed, struggling to breathe. I am the last. I must bond, or I die. Like them. Jason blinked. Bond? What does that mean? Jiraiya grabbed his hand, her touch warm and electric. I don't want to die. Please. Jason looked at her. She was in pain. And she was not from Earth. But somehow his heart told him this was real. She wasn't dangerous. She was desperate. He stood up and lifted her gently in his arms. She was light, like holding fire wrapped in silk. I don't know what's going on, Jason muttered, but I'm not letting you die. As he walked back to his cabin, the forest behind him shimmered, as if something, or someone, was already watching. And far away, in the depths of space, a red light blinked. The last alien girl had been found, and others were coming. An offer. He couldn't refuse. Jason placed the alien girl gently on his couch, her glowing skin dimming, like fading embers. He had never seen anything like her, not in movies, not in dreams. Her body trembled. Her breaths came slow and shallow. She was dying, and he had no idea how to save her. He grabbed a blanket, covered her, and rushed to his small kitchen. Water, towels, anything that might help. But as he returned to her side, she opened her eyes, again, barely. Her voice was softer now. I can feel the core slowing. Jason sat beside her. I don't understand what's happening to you, but I'll help. Just tell me how. Shariah looked into his eyes, searching, not for sympathy, but for strength. You must listen carefully. I'm not here by accident. I was sent, or maybe I ran. But either way, you're my only hope now. Jason leaned closer. Hope for what? She exhaled deeply, as if pulling words from somewhere painful. My kind, we are designed to bond. Without it, we shut down, emotionally, mentally, then physically. You saw the bodies. Jason nodded slowly. On the ship, all those other girls. She nodded. Inactive, dead. No bonding means no survival. I escaped before my time ran out, but now it's ticking. Jason stood up, rubbing his face. You're saying you'll die unless we bond? Sharia whispered. Yes, Jason laughed nervously. What does that even mean? Like, marry you? Kiss you? Do some alien ritual? Sharia sat up a little, her body glowing again, faintly. Bonding is deeper. It's not about romance or ritual. It's a fusion of soul's energy memory. It links us. You'll see my past, I'll feel your emotions. It's not small, it's permanent. Jason's heartbeat quickened. You want to permanently connect with me? A human? Someone you just met? Sharia blinked slowly. I don't want to. I have to. Silence. The clock on the wall ticked louder than usual. Outside, the wind picked up. Jason looked at her. Alien. Beautiful. Dying. Yet somehow honest. Not just with him, but with her fear. He could see it in her eyes. She didn't want to die. She didn't want to be alone. Why me? Jason asked. Sharia replied softly. Because your DNA is compatible, and because your heart didn't leave me to die in that forest. Jason closed his eyes. He remembered holding her, how warm she felt, how fragile. He also remembered the emptiness in his own life. No family, no purpose, nothing to live for. Maybe she wasn't the only one who needed saving. Jason sat back down and held out his hand. Okay, what do I need to do? Sharia stared at his hand. A strange look crossed her face. Half fear, half relief. You'll feel it, she whispered. Just don't let go. She reached out and touched his palm. Instantly the room went dark. Jason gasped as memories flooded his mind, memories that weren't his. He saw Sharia as a child on a bright alien world, playing under twin suns. He saw her cry when her sister was taken for testing. He felt the cold fear when her race began to vanish one by one, declared inactive. He felt her loneliness, her pain, her rage, and her hope. The visions ended. Jason fell backward, sweating, breathing hard. What was that? Sharia looked stronger now. Her glow had returned. That was the start of the bond. It's not complete yet, but I can feel it. I'm not dying anymore. Jason nodded slowly. That was intense. You saw who I really am, she said. Jason smiled weakly. Yeah, and you're not as scary as you look. Sharia raised an eyebrow. Neither are you. They both laughed. But outside, something moved in the forest. A red dot blinked silently on a distant screen. A signal had been sent the moment Jaria touched Earth. Far across the galaxy, a dark figure opened its eyes inside a warship. It watched the signal pulse, then pressed a button. Hunter had been activated, and Earth was now a target. The bond evolves. And so does he. Jason didn't sleep that night. How could he? He had just merged minds with an alien girl who crashed into his life, literally, and now claimed they were bonded. His body still felt strange. His heartbeat had slowed, but his senses sharpened. He could hear the crickets outside, the wind brushing the trees, even the soft hum of Jaria breathing across the room. He looked at his hand, the one she had touched. It glowed faintly under the skin, like something was alive inside him now. Jaria sat in silence, watching the stars through the window. Her body was stabilizing, but her thoughts were a storm. This was not how she imagined bonding would feel. Jason's mind had been different, raw, honest, messy, but full of warmth. He had no military training, no royal blood, no knowledge of the stars. Yet she felt safer beside him than she ever had with her own kind. Maybe that's why the bond had started to evolve. She stood up quietly and walked to him. "You're changing," she said softly. Jason looked up. "Yeah, I can feel it. Everything's louder, clearer. That's because part of me is inside you now. Your cells are adapting, and not just mentally but physically." Jason raised a brow. "Like, I'm turning into an alien?" She smiled. "No, you're becoming more." Suddenly a loud thump shook the cabin. Both of them froze. Jason rushed to the window. "Something's outside." Jaria's face darkened. "The signal. They found me." Jason grabbed a flashlight and a wrench, the only weapon he had. "Stay here." Jaria touched his shoulder. "No, I come with you. If it's who I think it is, you're not enough." Jason frowned. "Thanks for the vote of confidence." They stepped outside together. The night was still, but something felt wrong. Too quiet. The trees shifted. Leaves rustled. And then, a figure stepped out of the shadows. It was tall, armored, in black metal with glowing red eyes, not human, a reclaimer. Jaria's voice was a whisper. "It's a bounty hunter, sent to erase survivors like me." The reclaimer pointed a scanning device at Jaria. It beeped. Target confirmed. Genetic anomaly 7X. Bond status active. Termination required. Jason stepped in front of her. "You'll have to go through me." The reclaimer didn't hesitate, it charged. Jason moved to dodge, but his body moved faster than expected. Instinctively, his hand swung the wrench, and it connected hard. Too hard. The reclaimer flew back, smashing into a tree. Jason blinked. "What the hell?" Jaria's eyes widened. "The bond. It's already strengthening your body." The reclaimer stood up, slightly damaged, but still ready. It launched a plasma, dart straight at Jason. Jaria screamed. Jason raised his hand, and the dart froze midair, hovering inches from his face. Time slowed. Jason stared at it, shocked. Then the dart dropped to the ground. Jaria's voice trembled. "You just activated your core." Jason looked at his hands, now glowing faintly with pulsing blue energy. "What am I becoming?" She stepped forward, placing her hand over his chest. "Something new. Something not even I fully understand." The reclaimer lunged again, but this time Jason didn't wait. He moved like lightning, dodged the blade, and smashed his fist into the machine's chest. Sparks flew, circuits fried. The reclaimer fell to its knees, flickering. Before it died, it spoke one last time. "More will come." The red light in its eyes faded to black. Jason fell to the ground, breathing hard. His body ached. His mind raced. "What's happening to me?" he asked, half in fear, half in wonder. Jaria knelt beside him. "The bond isn't just saving me now, it's rewriting you." Jason looked up at her. Is that good or bad? She hesitated. I don't know, she said. But I do know this. You're no longer just a human, and the galaxy will fear that. They sat in silence as the stars above shifted slowly. From far beyond Earth, deep in the command ship of a hidden empire, a message was received. Genetic bond detected. Hybrid form confirmed, eliminate at all costs, and so began the hunt, not just for Zaria, but for Jason too. Hunted from the stars high above Earth, something ancient stirred. In the void of space, a massive warship, black as a shadow and silent as death, floated just beyond the moon's reach. It wasn't here to explore, it was here to cleanse. Inside its cold command chamber, hundreds of glowing red eyes flickered to life. Dozens of bounty hunters, cybernetic killers known as reclaimers, stood waiting. A large screen lit up. Target, Zaria 7X, status, bonded with human. Hybrid anomaly confirmed. Threat level, high orders, destroy both subjects, leave no trace. The voice of their overlord echoed through the ship. They have broken the design, they must not survive. The hunters prepared for war. Back on Earth. Jason stood by the lake behind his cabin, hands submerged in water. But the reflection staring back wasn't the same man anymore. His veins glowed faintly. His muscles twitched like static danced beneath the skin. His eyes had changed too, brighter, sharper, almost alien. He could hear things miles away. He could feel the tension in the air like invisible wires. Inside the cabin, Zaria ran diagnostics on herself through a holographic interface Jason couldn't understand. Her body was fully stable now. In fact, stronger than ever. But her mind, it was a storm. This shouldn't be happening, she whispered to herself. The bond was only meant to preserve, not transform. Jason stepped in. What's wrong? Zaria looked at him. You've changed too fast. Your body shouldn't have adapted this quickly. Jason shrugged. Well, I've always been a fast learner. She didn't laugh. Jason, this isn't funny. You're not just bonded, you're mutating. Jason leaned against the wall. I'm not scared. I feel alive, like I finally have a purpose. Zaria turned away. It's not about you feeling strong. It's about what the galaxy will do once they realize you exist. Jason narrowed his eyes. Then let them come. She looked at him, sadness in her voice. They will. The reclaimers arrived without warning. 6 burning comets streaked across the sky, crashing into Earth like a divine punishment. They didn't hide. They didn't sneak. They came like wolves in daylight. Within minutes, towns near the forest went dark. Cell towers fried. Power grids failed. No news, no satellites, no escape. Jason and Zaria stood on the roof of the cabin, watching the smoke rise from nearby towns. They're here, she said. And this time, they brought an alpha. Jason didn't blink. What's an alpha? The first reclaimer ever built. A machine that doesn't hunt, it erases. Jason clenched his fists. His veins glowed. Zaria turned to him. We have to leave. But Jason didn't move. No. I've run my whole life. First from grief, then from purpose. Now, I'm done running. Zaria touched his arm. If you fight them, you'll die. Jason looked at her steady. Then I'll die protecting you. Zaria froze. She had seen courage. She had seen sacrifice. But she had never felt it like this. So raw, so human. The bond between them pulsed like a heartbeat. Then the first reclaimer burst through the trees. It was 3 times Jason's size. Metallic blades for arms. Its face a red burning skull. Jason didn't hesitate. He charged. The battle was chaos. Jason moved like lightning, ducking under blades, punching with alien strength. His body burned with energy he didn't understand. He wasn't trained. but something inside him was guiding him. Jiria stayed close, throwing energy blasts, her voice shouting in ancient language, creating force fields, pulsing with tech no human had ever seen. But the reclaimers weren't stopping. More came, and behind them, a shadow moved, the Alpha Reclaimer. It didn't speak, it didn't run. It simply watched until it decided to act. Jason was thrown across the ground, bleeding. His chest armor cracked, he gasped for air. Jiria, we're outnumbered. Jiria knelt beside him. Then we do what your kind always does when facing extinction. Jason coughed. What's that? Jiria whispered, eyes glowing fiercely. Fight louder. Together, they stood one last time. From the trees, the Alpha stepped forward. 10 feet tall, made of black alloy, with a voice deeper than thunder. Hybrid, unapproved. Elimination required. Jason stared at it, exhausted but defiant. Then come and get me. The Alpha raised a hand. Power charged around it. Jason raised his hand too, and from it, a beam of pure blue light exploded forward, meeting the Alpha's strike head-on. The forest shook. The skies split. And in that moment, one thing became clear. Jason was no longer just human. He was the beginning of something the stars had never seen. Bloodline protocol. The battlefield was silent. Smoke rose from the crater where Jason and the Alpha Reclaimer's energy blasts had collided. Trees were torn apart. Earth was scorched black. The cabin? Gone. Nothing but rubble and ash. Jason stood, in the center of it all, barely conscious. His clothes burned, his skin glowing blue like embers under flesh. His eyes flickered between human and something not human. Jiria rushed to his side, sliding across the dirt, holding him up. You shouldn't be alive, she whispered. Jason gave a weak smile. You say that every day. But she wasn't smiling, because something had changed. Not just in Jason, but in the bond itself. They hid in a cave deep beneath the forest roots, a place Jiria found using old alien tech hidden beneath Earth's surface long ago. Safe for now. Jason rested on a slab of stone, his chest rising slowly. Jiria activated her internal scanner. A bright blue light swept over his body. What she saw made her breath catch. Jason's DNA was no longer human. At least not only human alien code had integrated into his cells, and was spreading. Fast. Organs enhanced. Bones strengthened. Neural links forming pathways she had only seen in royal lineages back on her homeworld. Jason, she said quietly, you're becoming something that shouldn't exist. He sat up slowly. I feel it. Every second. My body's changing, but it's not hurting. It feels right. Jiria hesitated. You activated the bloodline protocol. Jason frowned. What's that? She walked closer, serious now. It was a last resort program, designed only for royal heirs. If a queen died, her DNA would bond with another compatible being. That being would become the new seed of a new bloodline. Jason blinked. You're saying I'm carrying alien royal blood now? Jiria nodded. Not just carrying it. Becoming it. Jason stood slowly, still sore. So what does that make me? Jiria looked at him, voice trembling. A threat to every empire out there, because no human has ever survived a full bond, and now you're evolving into something beyond either of our kinds. Far across the galaxy, the Council of Sovereigns watched a live scan of Earth. A glowing red signal flared across the screen, Jason's hybrid body lighting up like a sun. The High Chancellor growled. The bloodline protocol has been awakened. This cannot be allowed. Another counselor leaned forward. If the human and the girl reproduce, they will create a species we cannot control. The Chancellor stood, his voice thunderous. Then send the cleanser fleet. Erase the planet. Back in the cave, Jason and Jiria argued. You knew this. Might happen, Jason said. Why didn't you tell me? Because I didn't believe the bond would evolve this far. Sharia replied. I didn't think your body would handle it. Jason paced. So now what? Every alien empire is coming to kill us? Great. She sighed. It's not just us they fear. It's what we can create. Jason paused. Wait. You mean kids? Sharia looked away. Jason's heart skipped. You're pregnant? She nodded slowly. I didn't know until after the Alpha attack. Your body triggered the protocol, and mine responded. Jason sat down, stunned. A child, a half-human, half-alien child, the first of its kind. Jiraiya whispered. If they find out, they won't just come for us, they'll come for the child. Jason stood back up, fire in his eyes. Then let them come. I'll burn every last one of them if I have to. Jiraiya touched his face. You've already become more than I imagined, but this fight can't be won with rage. We need allies. We need others like you. Jason blinked. There are others? Jiraiya hesitated. Maybe. I know of hidden pockets of resistance. Scientists, soldiers, exiles. Not all aliens follow. The old code. Some want freedom, love, choice. Jason looked toward the cave entrance, the stars just barely visible. Then let's find them. Let's build something new. Jiraiya nodded. A future, not just for us, but for what comes next. The camera zooms out. Deep underground, a spark of new life grows inside Jiraiya. Something neither alien nor human. Something new. In space, the fleet approaches. Thousands of ships, millions of weapons. All for one reason, to stop a baby from being born. The universe doesn't know it yet. But Jason and Jiraiya's child is about to become the most dangerous being in existence. War at the edge of the woods. Rain fell hard over the forest. The wind howled like a warning. Jason stood at the entrance of the cave, his glowing blue veins visible under the torn remains of his shirt. Behind him, Jiraiya slept lightly, one hand on her stomach, where the first human-alien hybrid life was beginning to grow. Jason wasn't just guarding a cave anymore. He was guarding the future, and something was coming. Above Earth, the cleanser fleet had arrived, 10,000 ships, weapons that could erase continents, armies of reclaimers, alpha units, and something worse, the harvesters. Machines that didn't just kill. They consumed DNA, leaving no trace behind. At the front of the fleet stood Lord Exal, supreme executor of the galactic bloodline purity. Order, part flesh, part machine, all terror. His only mission, stop the hybrid from being born. The protocol is broken, he growled. The bloodline must remain pure. Begin the descent. In the forest, Jason could feel them coming, not with his eyes, with his mind. Since bonding with Jiraiya, his senses had gone beyond human limits. He could hear alien signals. He could feel space distortions like ripples in a pond. Now it was like a storm was crawling beneath his skin. He turned to Jiraiya. Wake up. She opened her eyes instantly. How close? Minutes, he said. Maybe less. She stood up, her hair glowing faintly. Then we fight, together. Jason stared at her belly. You shouldn't be on the front lines. Jiraiya looked at him, fierce. I'm not weak, and this child isn't either. Jason nodded. All right, we end it here. Suddenly the skies lit up. Streaks of red fire broke through the clouds as the cleanser fleet entered Earth's atmosphere. The ground trembled. Animals scattered. Trees bent. Then, silence. And from that silence, they came. Hundreds of reclaimers stormed the woods, metal bodies glowing, weapons ready. They moved in perfect formation. No sound, no emotion. Jason and Jiraiya didn't wait. They struck first. Jason leapt into the air, crashing down with an explosion of energy that split the earth. Reclaimers flew in every direction. His punches shattered armor. His movements were faster than bullets. Jiraiya glided beside him, her body wrapped in plasma light. She fired beams of energy that carved through the enemy lines. She teleported. Deflected, destroyed. But for every reclaimer they destroyed, 5 more arrived. Deeper in the woods, Lord Exal landed. He walked slowly, calmly, like the war didn't matter. Because it didn't. Not to him. He had one goal: destroy the hybrid embryo inside Zaria. He held out his hand, and the trees around him died, just from his presence. Jason felt the air shift. He stopped mid-fight and looked toward the eastern ridge. Something's here. Zaria turned too. The Alpha wasn't the real threat. This is. Jason nodded. I'll handle the army. You run, Zaria glared. I'm not leaving you. Jason walked closer, eyes glowing like fire. You're not leaving me. You're protecting our child. Zaria hesitated. Tears welled in her eyes, but she knew he was right. She stepped back. Then don't die. Jason smiled. Wouldn't dare. The final wave hit. Harvesters dropped from the sky like metal spiders, tearing through trees, burning the ground. Reclaimers swarmed from all directions. Jason screamed and unleashed. His energy pulse exploded outward, turning the forest into a blue inferno of light. His body glowed fully now, no longer human. The first hybrid warrior. Zaria escaped deeper, into the forest, shielding her body with protective fields. But Lord Exal followed. He moved like a ghost, untouched by the chaos, eyes locked on her. He whispered, I smell the air. Zaria spun, firing 3 energy blasts. Exal absorbed them like air. You are nothing but a glitch in evolution. He sneered. Zaria raised her arms. Then let me be a glitch that ends you. Back at the battlefield, Jason was losing blood. His body was pushed beyond limits. His mind began to fade, but his will didn't break. The image of Zaria, of their child, of a life they hadn't lived yet. It kept him standing, and then he saw Exal's shadow approaching Zaria. Jason ran. Exal stood over Zaria now, one hand raised, preparing to strike. Goodbye, impurity. Jason crashed into him mid-blast, breaking the ground beneath them. The 2 titans clashed, fist against claw, power against rage. Exal roared. You are not worthy of the bloodline, Jason shouted back. Then why are you afraid of it? He drove his fist into Exal's chest, cracking the armor. This bond, this child, this love, you can't control it. Exal screamed as his core overloaded. Jason grabbed Zaria's hand and pulled her close. Now, he whispered. Together, they focused their energy and unleashed a final, combined blast, a beam of blue and violet light, straight into Exal's heart. The warlord disintegrated. The forest went quiet. The fleet paused. Jason and Zaria stood alone in the ashes, victorious. But the war wasn't over. The universe had seen something tonight. Not destruction, but rebirth. And that was something no empire was ready for. Rise of the hybrid flame. The fire had stopped, but the sky still burned. Clouds glowed orange, not from war, but from something new. A pulse, a rhythm, a signal. It moved through the planet like a heartbeat, steady, powerful, ancient. Jason and Zaria stood at the edge of the battlefield, bodies scarred, breath heavy. Their hands were still locked together, glowing with soft energy. Around them, the remains of machines smoked in piles. The reclaimers had fallen. The cleanser fleet? Gone. But this wasn't a victory. It was an announcement. The hybrid had risen, and the universe had felt it. Miles away, hidden in an underground observatory, an old alien scientist stared at his monitor in disbelief. The bloodline flame has activated, he whispered. After 3,000 years. He turned to the others in the room. Aliens from different species, all rebels, all exiled. Prepare the message. The prophecy is real. The child is coming. The heir of both worlds is real. Back on Earth, Jason collapsed to one knee. His body was changing again. Zaria ran to him. Jason? He gritted his teeth, gripping his head. His skin shifted colors. Energy flowed through his veins like rivers of fire. He looked at her, terrified. Something's happening. It's not like before. Sharia scanned him using her tech interface. It's not an attack. It's a transformation. Jason gasped. Into what? Sharia's voice was soft, filled with awe. Into a flame bearer. Jason blinked. What the hell is that? Sharia knelt beside him. It's a myth. A warrior born of love, not cloning. Of two species, not one. It was said whoever carried the flame would either destroy the galaxy or save it. Jason laughed weakly. Figures I'd become a space prophecy. But then, from his chest, a glowing symbol appeared. A burning spiral, etched in blue and gold. It pulsed with life. Sharia touched it. This is your soul mark now. You're not just bonded anymore. You're chosen. Jason stood, stronger than ever before. Then it's time I started acting like it. Far above, on a hidden planet called Delthar Prime, a gathering of ancient rulers watched Jason's transformation through a dimensional rift. He carries the flame. One whispered, "The forbidden child grows." Another said, "He must be stopped." A third growled, "No." A new voice said, calm, powerful. A woman in regal robes stepped forward. Her skin shimmered like obsidian glass, and her eyes glowed red. "I want him brought to me," she said, alive. They turned to her. "Queen Zalara." "Why?" one asked. She smiled faintly. "Because he's not just the flame bearer. He's my son's last legacy." Jason and Sharia now walked through the broken woods together, searching for survivors. Every step they took left a glowing trail behind them, energy seeping into the earth, healing it. Trees began to regrow. Flowers bloomed from ash. Sharia looked around. "You're not just a warrior now. You're a signal. A new beginning." Jason nodded. "Then we can't hide anymore." Sharia paused. "You want to go public?" "I want to go galactic," he said. "I want every outcast, rebel, orphan, and prisoner who's been crushed by these empires to know we're building something new." She smiled. "Then we'll need a beacon." They returned to the remains of the cave, now pulsing with the energy of their bond. Jason placed his hand on the rock wall. The energy from his soul mark flowed into the earth. A tower rose from the ground, glass and steel woven with living roots and alien tech. At the top, a beam of blue fire shot into the sky. The galaxy would see it, and they would come, some to join, some to kill. But the message was clear. The hybrid flame has risen. Inside the tower, Sharia sat beside a glowing stasis chamber, the child growing within her surrounded by protective fields, humming softly. Jason stood behind her. "Are you afraid?" She nodded. "Yes, but not of the war." He looked at her. "Then what?" She whispered. "Of what this child might become. If we lose, if we die." Jason knelt beside her. "Then we don't lose. We teach them love. We raise them in truth. We show them what both worlds never could." Sharia looked at him, tears in her eyes. "You already sound like a father." Jason smiled. "I already am, but far, far away." Queen Zalara's ship began its jump toward Earth. She sat in silence, holding a small pendant, a broken piece of armor. "My son died protecting the protocol," she whispered. "And now his legacy lives in a human." She turned to her guards. "Prepare the diplomatic channel. I will speak to the flame bearer myself."